All right. Hello. Sir, no excuses, sir. Yes. Hey, it's an honor to be here. I'm not sure about this music, but all right, so it's an honor for me to be up here today and to be able to present and feature these guys. These guys are all amazing. You know, a few weeks back, I was able to actually present in my city for the Home Ownership Center. We were presenting to a group of first-time buyers, and at the end of the presentation, the executive director came up to me and she said, hey, you did a pretty good job. And I said, oh, well, thank you. I said, you know what, though? Typically, I get more laughs from the participants. And she said, well, maybe you need better jokes. I said, maybe you need a better sense of humor. All right, so I'm going to spare you my jokes today. All right, but we do have an amazing panel up here. And let me ask you, this is mastering or getting your PhD in scripts. Who is interested in getting a PhD in scripts? All right, so like 3 of you guys. Awesome. Let me ask you again, who is interested in getting a PhD in scripts? Outstanding. All right, so what we're going to do is, we're going to have some fun today, first of all. These guys up here, what we want is we want them sweating. We want you to bring your best, toughest objections up to this microphone. So we're going to have an opportunity now to come up here and run some objections with these guys. And these guys are tremendous, so don't even worry about it. Bring your toughest ones. But what we're going to do first, we're going to have them quickly tell us a little bit about themselves. And if you want to just give your name, where you're from, your business, a little bit how long you've been in the business, and how did you get started with scripts?
Okay, Deric Lipski, Keller, Williams, Easton, 13 years in the business. Got started with scripts with Mike Ferry, Tony Robbins, Floyd Whitman, and blended together with Barry Bagno, which kind of out there just getting my butt kicked on the streets and school of hard knocks, right?
Absolutely. And Deric, tell me a little bit about your routine. What's your day look like with
my morning schedule?
Yeah.
I get up about 5 o'clock, get into the gym about 5:15, work out to about 6:30, get up, do some affirmations, get to the office, kids to the bus stop, then get to the office about 8:30, 9 o'clock, get on the phones at 9, prospect till 11:30, 12, depending on how many contacts I make, and then the rest of the day is just whatever I got to do with appointments or
how many contacts are you making every day?
I was doing 50 for a while. Now I'm doing 35, 30, depending on if I get an appointment. And sometimes I coach people too, and I tell them, if you guys get an appointment, keep going if you can that day. Because sometimes when you're hot, you're hot. You know what I mean? So if I get an appointment, that usually means I might get 2, so I keep going. But usually about 12 o'clock is my cutoff time because I got other stuff I have to do.
All right.
Yeah.
So keep that momentum going is what you're saying.
I always notice that it just sometimes, like, it's an average thing, but if you're calling, sometimes you don't get appointments, it averages up, but sometimes when you get appointments, you're likely to get 2 or 3. I've had days where I've gotten 9, the first of the year, January 1st, so if everyone doesn't call on January 1st, you should, because that's the biggest day for this kind of business.
Yeah, huge. Write that down, January 1st. Most agents aren't calling. Thank you. Jeff?
Hey, good morning. It's Jeff Mateja from the Greater Portland, Maine office. I've been in the business full-time 4 years now. The other question now. Daily routine.
Tell us a little bit about your team. What do you do? What's your role?
CEO of the Universal Properties team, and a lot of my script practices with team leaders. David was a script partner for a while. More lead generating for talent, as well as buyers and sellers.
Awesome. Thank you.
Arthur Martiroso, DNA Realty Group, and I'm from Andover Market Center. Woo! Been in the business since about 2009. My daily schedule is usually prospecting anytime between 8 and 12. I like to get it out of the way in the morning. And what else?
How long have you been in business?
Since 2009.
2009. Okay, great. Just tell us a little bit about what's your routine look like? What's the first thing you do when you get to the office, and how does that look every day?
Absolutely. So the first thing I do when I get in the office, most of the people from my market center will know, I'm on the phones prospecting. Get that out of the way because you got to eat the frog, and usually the morning is the best time and the easiest to stay consistent and be able to do that. So noon I'll do negotiating, maybe take a class, handle the deals, whatever, and evenings, daytime is appointments.
Awesome. And what about your practice? I mean, I know I was honored and privileged to have all of these guys as role play partners at one point. I mean, how many role play partners do you have? What's that look like? Tell us about your practice.
So I role play every day. I role play with Dave on Fridays, some people here. One day I role play twice a day, so usually 6 times a week consistently, and I switch the partners up about every 6 months.
Awesome. Jeff, are you still doing, well, you mentioned team leaders?
Yeah, it's 4 days a week. A couple of team leaders in the audience. You know, my coach, David's been a script partner, and a couple of my agents. So I'll script practice with my buyer's agents or my listing specialist, lead coordinator, depending on where we are that week.
All right, awesome. Deric?
When I was really hitting hard, I was doing 10, 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and I would do East Coast, West Coast. Now my time's really limited, so I'm only doing one a day, so 5.
So when you do the role play too, how long is it?
15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. It really depends on how good it's going and what you got ahead of you. I mean, if I got something I gotta get on the phone and the time's late, I gotta get on the phone, I gotta stop it. But I try to get in a good call and get the other person a good call, give good feedback, and then go. I don't want a lot of chit chat, I just gotta get it done and go.
Yeah, so when I
In case you don't know, I'm the driver.
Yeah, Deric, you tell Deric's an ID. So when I had Deric as a role play partner, and any role play partner, when I call him, he answers the phone and we go right into it. It's not, oh hey, how was your weekend, or what you do last night, or tell me about, it's just right into it. We do the role play, 5 objections. We give some real feedback, and then we switch, and that's it, and we get into our calls. So thank you for sharing that. So what we want to do now is we're going to open it up. And I forgot to say this, no excuses. Go Red Sox!
Yeah!
I'm growing my beard, my best shot at a beard here for the Red Sox. That's my little tribute to them. So here we got an open mic. We'd love to get some people up here. Let's see, bring your toughest objections. The ones that have you guys up at night, sweating, the ones you can't think about. Here we go.
And also, don't be afraid to share if you have a great objection handler. I'd love to hear it too. You know, don't be afraid to share it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's get a couple more people up here. Thank you, man.
Hi,
and if you could introduce yourselves, your name, and then where you're from for referral purposes.
Sure, John O'Connor from Keller Williams, Boston Metro.
Thank you, John.
So my question is, I'm a seller, and I've been thinking about selling because I really want to move. But I really just won't put my place on the market because the inventory is so tight that there's nothing for me to buy. And I have a few coworkers who are now stuck in transitional housing with their family, and they've been there for 6 months. So can you tell me why I should put my property on the market now when there's nothing to buy?
Okay, John, I get what you're saying. So what I hear you saying is that you want to wait till you've secured housing for yourself before you put this on the market, is that right?
At least I want to see the possibility that there's inventory out there that I can buy. If not the exact house I want to buy, at least something close.
Okay, and when you sell, you're staying here local, you're moving out of state?
Staying in.
Okay, so you're staying local here?
Correct.
Okay, and are you going to go bigger or smaller with this property?
Bigger.
Okay, so you're going to get a bigger home, sort of upsize in this market?
Correct.
Makes sense, okay. And from what I hear you saying is you want to make sure that you have the right inventory out there so you can make the move. It has to make sense for your family and for yourself to go, and I guess you're not seeing the right property out there right now.
No, I've been working with a buyer's agent for about 6 months, and we've been going out looking at things, and things go very quickly, and I haven't seen the property that's right for my family.
Well, that's exactly why we need to have your property on the market now, because we need to lock up a buyer for your property so when a property does become available, you're able to capitalize on it quickly and not only tell the seller that you have your home sold, but you can close in 30 days versus I need to put my home on the market and wait for it to sell, and then once I have a buyer, another 30 days. When the market's so hot, and I'm sure you're looking for a good home, is that right?
That's true, but I don't need to sell my home before I purchase the new one. In fact, I'd rather not. I'd rather be sure that I have a place to put my family and I can sell the place afterwards.
Well, you know, that makes sense. In an uprising market, that might be a good move for you. I mean, what could happen is selling your house in the future, if the market goes up, it could mean more money. At the same respect, it could be a bit tougher because if interest rates are on the rise and with this government shutdown, they're suggesting that it's going to get a bit hotter. It is a lot easier to sell your house now at 4.5% than it's going to be at 7.5% in spring of next year. Also, you're going to have a lot more competition then than you do now. Let me ask you, John, if you could go in temporary housing until you found a home for your family, is that a possibility for you?
It's a possibility that I don't really want to contemplate because my kids are in school and I don't want to disrupt that.
Well, I understand that. And if you're local, you wouldn't disrupt that. I mean, if you move anytime, you're gonna stay local, so it's not gonna disrupt the school. But what I hear you saying is that you wanna find the right property, and I'm assuming, like most people, you want the most money for this property as well, because you need that for the next house, right?
Well, as I said, I really don't have to sell the place I have right now. My principal concern is making sure that I can find a place for my family to move into, stay in the same school system. I don't have to find the place before I put it on the market, but I at least have to know that there's inventory out there that's like what I'm looking for.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's try to get, let's see what's out there for the market, the inventory. Is your buyer agent calling all the expired listings and for sale owners as well as what's active on the market?
I'm not sure.
Because that might be another avenue for you to look at. Why don't we do this? Let's set up an appointment. I'll come down and talk about the property. I'll bring some expireds of some homes that might suit your needs. If you think that any of them look good, I can contact those sellers directly and see if we can get an appointment to view some of them, at least give you an idea what's out there. At the same aspect, they'll be happy to do this because they're only going to pay one agent, me, and not to pay two agents, and we can get you an idea what's going on out there, and at the same time, we can sort of talk about the property. If it's the right time to put it on the market, we can do it. If it's not, we can wait. I mean, I plan on being in business the next 3 to 6 months anyways.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was gonna say, you know that little voice in your head that's saying what? The voice that's right now saying, what voice in my head? Right, you hear that one? The voice that's saying, you don't go up to that mic, because you might not sound good, you might say something wrong. Let's get some people up to the mic. Come on, this is the time to get outside your comfort zone, and let's have some fun with these guys.
If nobody comes up, I'm happy to hang up here for a while.
Yeah.
So this one is actually around town. And I say this, I start with this because I know as we work with UPI, one of the greatest challenges we have running teams is finding great talent. So you know what, I really appreciate you giving me a call, but I'm pretty happy where I'm at. I think I'm all set. I'm thinking you may be going for a cup of coffee. Let me help you with that.
An agent calling.
No, I'm all right. So let me give you the backdrop. You're going to kick me off this mic. So the backdrop is, I assume you're prospecting me to come have a cup of coffee.
So really, just a framework. This is really a scripts for FSBOs, expireds, and sellers. However, if Jeff wants to handle that, that is fine with Jeff.
All right. Sorry for breaking up.
No, that's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Say it again. I didn't.
So you want to give me a call and see if you can get an appointment?
Okay, sure. Ring, ring.
Brian Armstrong.
Hey Brian, it's Jeff Mateja from the Universal Properties team at Keller Williams. How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeff. What's going on?
Great, great. Well, I was just calling to congratulate you. I saw that new listing at 123 Main Street, and looks like a great one. Been having a lot of showings?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually hoping you or one of your team members was going to bring me an offer on that.
Awesome. Well, we'll certainly do our best. I'd like to have our folks preview the properties. So, how's business for you?
Business is going pretty good. We're getting past that lull after we see that people go back to school, and but I'm hopefully going to be stocking up some listings for the for the winter months.
Great, great. And how are you looking towards your goals for year end?
Pretty good. Not quite where I want it to be at the year's end, but I'm pretty happy and I'm confident next year's going to be that year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I really I appreciate talking to you this morning. I've just been looking at a lot of your business, how you've been operating your business, and really take appreciation to how you run that. I'd love to sit down for coffee and talk about what you're doing a little bit differently and share some ideas. Do you have some time on Friday at 8 o'clock?
I'd be more than happy to sit down and share some ideas. Yet, Mark from your office has been chasing me, so all due respect, Jeff, if you're looking to build your downline, I'm pretty happy where I'm at.
Oh, sure, Brian. This isn't a recruiting call. It's just two comrades sharing some ideas. I'd love to sit down for coffee at 8 o'clock on Friday and just go over a couple of thoughts on what you're doing differently to market properties like that listing that you just took at 123 Main Street. Nice. We share a few laughs, a couple stories, and take it from there.
I'd be happy to do that. Tell you what, why don't you give me a call in a couple weeks and we'll see if we can do that.
Well, I understand that you're busy, Brian, but is there a better time? I could meet as early as 5:30 in the morning if that would work for you.
5:30. You sure you're not trying to recruit me?
No, not at all. I just like to share ideas. Like I said, at the end of the day, we'll share a few laughs, take away a couple of marketing tips for our properties. I'll pick up some thoughts on how I can market my properties from you. And what do you say? Coffee at 7.
All right, that sounds good to me.
All right, good job. Good job. Thank you. All right, so we have a room of 400 people, and I cannot believe that no one, thank you for coming up, has an objection. Well, no one's ever dealt with an objection? There we go. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Art.
Hello.
I could have done this in the office. Hey, I'm Debbie Cruzel with Keller Williams Andover, and I'm going after listings more. Recently, I had an appointment from a Zillow call in Londonderry. So it's 3 towns over from where I live in Pelham. And the question is, well, how are you going to do the best job for us selling our house when you're from down south?
Oh, I can appreciate that, but let me ask you this question, Deb. Where do you think a buyer for Londonderry is going to come from? Right from Londonderry, or chances are from another surrounding town? What do you think?
Probably a surrounding town.
Right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to market and expose your property, not just in Londonderry, but all around, and actually internationally. Now, isn't that the kind of exposure that you're looking for your property?
Yeah, but everybody does that because it's in the MLS, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the average agents do just put the property in the MLS and cross their fingers that it sells, put a sign in the yard. But what we do is completely different, and I'd actually like to share with you our aggressive marketing approach. When is a good time? Tonight at 6, or is Monday better for you?
Well, I did meet with them, so, at least I was one of the contenders. But thank you.
All right, good
You're
job.
welcome.
Thank you.